Welcome to News9. We are at WSDS 2026 hosted by TERI. I have with me today Ms. Martina Otto, Head of Secretariat of Climate and Clean Air Coalition at the UNEP. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you for being with News9. My first question is, how do you take care of what is the plan outlay for taking care of non-CO2 pollutants and managing them?
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here with you. So why do we focus on the non-CO2 pollutants? That is because it's a question of time and temperature. Those pollutants are responsible for half of the warming, almost half of the warming that we're experiencing today, because many of them are a much shorter time in the atmosphere. That means cutting them gives us near-term climate benefits. We talk about 0.5 degrees less by mid-century. And that may or may not be the difference between the overshoot being there for a longer period of time. And that means tipping points, that means livelihoods, that means protection of nature, of our agricultural productivity, and so on. That's why we're focusing on them. And the beauty is you get immediate air quality benefits for people, you get the near-term climate benefits as well, and we use technologies that are proven, readily available for the most low cost, and they generate business opportunities.
Managing non-CO2 pollutants, now WSDS has gone from awareness to transformation. At what stage is the awareness or the management of non-CO2 pollutants when we talk globally?
No, you're absolutely right. We have been in existence since 2012, and I keep saying our first decade was very much about raising the awareness and getting people on board. It's creating the field for action, setting some of the foundations like planning activities, roadmap development, and so on. Now, the non-CO2 pollutants have made it in the nationally determined contributions of countries. 84% of the NDCs, the third edition of the nationally determined contributions that were due at last COP. 84% of them do factor in the non-CO2 pollutants, and that can be through an economy-wide target, it can be specific targets, it can be specific measures. We are agnostic about that, but there is a movement that is fully in action, and this decade is about implementation at scale. And we have a lot of countries that request support for policies, for technology development, for pipeline development to get more finance. And we work very closely with some of the finance partners like the World Bank to get more money into this area.
Last question, ma'am, slightly broader. Now, the Paris Agreement came into play in 2016. It was signed then. India, being in the global south, has met its target. Quite a few countries in the global north have not. So the divide between global north and global south, meeting the Paris Agreement targets, what is your view on that?
I would like to bring us back to where we unite, not where we're divided, where we help each other, where we have shared approaches, where we learn from each other, where we provide resources for each other, and where we look also at the global south for all the good things that are happening, the technologies that are homegrown, that are developed, the innovation capacity that is there, different approaches that can be spread across. And I think there's a lot that we can do in this bridging the divide.